Scripture teaches. And so our work this week is to say, you know what? I know I pretty much get along with these people, but am I pursuing this oneness? The Bible puts it this way in 1 Peter. I love this passage. 1 Peter 2, verse 4 and 5. It says, as you come to him, a living stone rejected by men, but in the sight of God, chosen and precious, you yourselves, like living stones, are being built up as a spiritual house. He says, you're like a living stone being built into a spiritual house. Do you ever think of yourself like that? That you're a piece of the temple? You know, a lot of times when we talk about the temple of God, we say, well, in the New Testament, I'm the temple of God. Yeah, there's truth to that. But usually when it talks about the temple in the New Testament, it's not you singular. It's usually you plural. Like in 1 Corinthians 3:16, do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you? It's not you individually there. That's the plural word for you, that the singular temple dwells in the plural you, like the y'all. I mean, really, that's what it's saying. Do y'all not know that y'all are God's temple singular and that God's Spirit dwells in y'all, all y'all? And it's this idea of the same thing in 1 Peter 2, verses 4 through 5, is I'm a part of that temple. And yes, there's other parts that talk about how we singularly are the temple of the Holy Spirit. Yes, he's in me, but there's an even more real picture here of us being stacked up. And I don't know if you ever thought of yourself that way. But until I studied that passage, I didn't really think about it. It's like in my pocket, I have this. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, let me see. I'm going to put it by my shirt so it contrasts. It's a little Lego piece. See that? Okay. This is what I've done for so much of my life. I wanted to just stand out by myself and go, look at me. Look at me. If you look closely, man, my edges are probably a little sharper than most of the Legos. These little round pieces are even a little rounder, and man, it's just look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, and I'm off by myself trying to draw attention to myself. But who wants to look at one Lego piece? Right? And I never thought of myself as, man, what's the purpose of this? The purpose was to be a part of something bigger, right? I told my son, build me a temple, and this is what he came up with. But the idea is, as 1 Peter 2 is talking about how you're one stone. And you just attach yourself. And maybe we want the position of prominence. And at different points in our life, it's like, okay, I'll attach myself to everyone else, but I want to be right here. I want to be the guy out front. I want to be the one that everyone sees. Rather than just saying, man, no, it's just an honor to be a part of the temple. Because why? Because Jesus Christ is the cornerstone of that temple, according to Ephesians 2, and it's built on this foundation of the apostles and the prophets. And to think, I can join Jeremiah, I can join Paul, I can be stacked into this temple. Man, I can join with Peter, and I can be another piece of this thing. And that we can join together. Wait, this week it's like, I can jump in with the Alliance Church. I can be stacked there right next to John this week. And together, man, we can become this temple. And I don't know if you remember that story in 2 Chronicles 7 when the temple was finally built and fire comes down into the temple and the glory of the Lord fills the temple and everyone's outside on their faces. No one dares walk in. That's why I want to be a part of the temple, because these are the people who get to see the glory of God and get to see the fire come down. Okay, the people that are off here going, look at me, look at me, look at me, they're not going to see. It's like, no, I want to be a part of this. I want to know that I'm attached to the same thing that Peter and Paul were attached to, and Mary, and I'm just another block in there. And I don't care. I don't care if I'm in the back here. No one ever sees me, because the idea is I want to see the glory of God. I want to get a picture of this because, man, I hope that's you. I think we all read Acts chapter 2, and there's part of us that longs for the end part where it talks about how people didn't have any need. Everyone was looking out for each other. And you read that and go, oh, I wish I lived back then. Man, I wish I could have been a part of that church. But you guys, in that unity, what happened in that upper room when those apostles were praying together? Because remember, the Old Testament temple isn't here anymore, right? We just talked about that. Who's the temple? We're the temple. So where was the temple on that day? It was in that upper room. And what happened in that upper room? Fire came down, didn't it? And filled what? The temple. This unified temple. And I'm going, God, I want to be a part of that. Don't you read the Old Testament, New Testament, you see the miracles, and you go, God, I just want to see one of these during my lifetime. Just one of these. And I just think if we keep striving after these man-made strategies, go, maybe if we do this, maybe if we do this, maybe if we try this, I don't think we're going to see the glory of God. God had a plan for the church. He says, I want you to be so in love with each other, so unified. And when you're one, the world's going to believe. They're even going to believe in their own destruction and your salvation. But you've got to stick together and strive side by side, not afraid of anything. You all become the temple of God. And that's my prayer for us. I don't know. I don't have any